But the SEC did announce, in light of those non-conference game schedules coming up, the annual opponents for at least the next 4 years have been announced. They're going to revisit these every 4 years, probably restructure, move some teams around. Drew, some old rivalries are coming back. Some old rivalries are going away. For the first time since 1964, Alabama and LSU will not play each other every year, which we saw some of this when Alabama was taken away from Mississippi State, some of those rivalries as well. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Auburn. But we'll start with our schools. Mississippi State's annual opponents that we're going to play every year for the next 4 years are Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, and Alabama. So Vanderbilt is not a team historically we have played very much. And so what?
Jackson Dart starting? Is that something?
We got some breaking news. You look that up. I'll keep talking. Mississippi State doesn't traditionally play Vanderbilt a whole lot. Ole Miss obviously is going to be there as our bitterest rival. And then we're getting a rivalry back with Alabama. And it's not the Alabama of old that we lost 17 in a row to. Now, they're still pretty good. But I'm not as afraid of this as I was if Nick Saban was still there and beat us 17 games in a row. Is that true?
Yeah. Per Adam Schefter, the Giants are planning to start rookie Jackson Dart on Sunday versus the Chargers.
I mean, if you watch that goal line series with Russell Wilson, it ain't going to get no worse.
I watched a pretty good bit of that game because I thought that it may be a shot that Jackson Dart comes in, and that was the only NFL game on at the time. And they brought in Dart, and he had a couple good runs. You know, they have a package for him with, kind of the two running backs off each shoulder and do the little option thing. And he had success. Listen, I'm equal parts excited for Jackson Dart and to be able to watch it. I'm all in on the Giants this year. The Saints suck. I love Jackson Dart. At the same time, seeing what Daniel Jones is doing in Indianapolis makes me think that Dayball may ruin him.
Like I said, there was a tweet on Sunday. It said, when Daniel Jones was in New York, he's going to get Brian Daboll fired. When Daniel Jones is in Indianapolis, he's going to get Brian Daboll fired.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, God bless Jackson Dart. Going to be running for his life behind that offensive line that is so abhorrent.
They did wait, which I heard that they were thinking about. They did wait till they got Andrew Thomas, their starting left tackle, healthy before they brought him in. So he can't be worse than Russell Wilson.
Again, go watch that goal line series where he threw 4 out of the back of the end zone when he had 2 guys.
Like Nick Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. Great running quarterback, not so great with his arm. But again, Mississippi State gets Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, and Alabama as our annual opponents for the next 4 years. I don't hate it. Again, Arkansas is one of our rivals. Auburn, LSU could have been inserted in there. But we haven't played Vanderbilt in forever. And so now we're going to get a shot at them over the next 4 years.
Yeah. See, Mississippi State should be pretty thrilled with theirs. You knew you were going to get Ole Miss. You didn't know who you were going to do the other one. You got Alabama. There's probably never a better time to have Alabama. Not that they're going to be bad. The streak will probably continue for a little while. I mean, the floor of Alabama is still pretty dang high.
Yeah.
And then you're getting Vanderbilt, which historically is great, but they're really good now too. It's going to continue.
Will it continue after Diego Pavia? That's the question.
Yeah, that is the question. And you compare that. I hate Ole Misses. I knew that we were going to get Mississippi State. Obviously, I knew we were going to get LSU, our true rival. You knew those, and you were going to have to pick one of the 3. I wanted to bring back the Vanderbilt rivalry game. Ole Miss did play. They were their permanent SEC East opponent when they were divisions. You have the Chucky Mullins story that happens there. I kind of wanted Vanderbilt, but that sounds like I want an easy way out. It's true. But instead, there's other – I would have rather had Arkansas. Historically, there's 3 or 4 teams I'd rather have. But we get the newcomer Oklahoma.
The upswing.
Yes. The Grizzlies will open training camp in Nashville this year. Breaking news. Once again, not really breaking. It happens every year, but
every year.
The 3 game. It seems hard. You take out your rivalry game. The easiest game right now is obviously going to be Mississippi State. But with that being a rivalry game, it's much more of a coin flip than anybody would ever like to see in an every single year format. Yeah. And so you couple that with Oklahoma, which is You got to travel to Norman every other year. And then LSU, which I like. I never want to get rid of that trophy game. It's fine, and I've tried to just not pay too much of attention to it because this is a 9-game schedule.
I was about to say
this is
is
only 3 of the games.
Yeah, 3 of the 9 games. Yeah.
So you will play half of the SEC, the rest of half of the SEC this year, and the rest of the other half next year. So it's not that big of a deal. It's only a third of the SEC schedule, and so I'll be all right. The only one I'm mad about is Tennessee. So
yeah, Tennessee got an absolute cakewalk getting, and again, they're bitter rivals, whatever. But it's a one-sided rivalry. You've got Alabama, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. Arkansas got a hell of a draw with it being Missouri, Texas, and LSU. Those are 3 10-win teams perennially. Right. Auburn getting Alabama and Georgia is tough. They got a bone thrown to them with Vanderbilt as their third opponent. Alabama has got big rivalries. Again, you get Auburn, you knew you were going to get that. You're probably going to get Tennessee, and then they gave them Mississippi State as their other one. Kentucky getting Florida, Tennessee, and South Carolina is not awful for Kentucky simply because Florida is very likely about to fire their head coach in Billy Napier. Tennessee is tough. That's a hard one. And then South Carolina is so volatile, they could fire Shane Beamer as well. And so you could have 2 easy opponents for Mark Stoops, who's going to win you 7 or 8 ball games every single year. Newcomer Oklahoma has Missouri, Ole Miss, and Texas. You knew that was going to be it. And then Texas with some old Southwest rivalries, Texas A&M, Arkansas, and Oklahoma as their 3 permanent opponents. Again, they're going to reevaluate these every 4 years. Right now on FanDuel, I feel like it's a good time to update the SEC championship odds.
Well, I'll say this before we go to that. I would like to know the criteria in which they do this because it seems like they're doing maybe tiers. And it's the reason why they're very right now biased, So you look at Ole Miss, you got your upper tier LSU, you got your bottom tier Mississippi State, and then you got maybe the middle tier Oklahoma. Seems like they've done that with pretty much everybody. You look at Mississippi State, you got the lower tier Vandy, the upper tier Alabama, the middle tier Ole Miss, and that's why I'm glad they're doing it in 4 years because you get a home and away twice in your bracket, whatever you call this pod, and then you switch them up, and then I hope they look at the rankings over the last 4 years, and then it becomes more you can kind of look and tell what it's going to be.
Yeah, and I hope that's what they're going to do.
And also, they're not going to cycle off Ole Miss and Mississippi State or Ole Miss and LSU, so you're only looking at that third team for Ole Miss.
I don't know. That LSU game might be one that gets flexed. If they're going to flex LSU and Alabama, one of these is not going to change for every year. I don't think they're going to pigeonhole 2.
I don't think either school would lobby to lose that game. I think they'd both fight very hard to keep that game. It is a trophy game.
It is.
And you've seen weird things. We're not playing Bedlam anymore, but that's because they're in different conferences. I think that you're going to see
Arkansas and LSU is a trophy game for the boot, and they didn't play. They're not playing that one.
Fair.
So I think you're going to have one permanent. I think that's what this is going to end up being is one permanent. Your rival, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Tennessee,
Mississippi State, LSU. Ole Miss, LSU.
Y'all keep with that that's the ultimate little brother rivalry, but we'll leave that alone.
What, you'll get bigger?
Kentucky, Tennessee.
That's bigger brother.
No, absolutely little. Ole Miss is the littlest brother with big brother syndrome I have ever seen in my entire life.
I guess that's why you've only got one rivalry game.
Anyway,
who? Arkansas?
I'm going to leave this alone. So right now on FanDuel, some updated odds for you for the SEC championship are Georgia at plus 280, Texas still hanging there at second, plus 300, Alabama plus 500, LSU plus 750. Oklahoma is all the way up from plus 2,200 to plus 1,000 on the streak that they're on currently. A&M plus 12, Ole Miss plus 1,300, Missouri moving up to plus 2,200 from plus 4,000, and then Tennessee at plus 2,700, still hanging back there. A little bit of an interesting take there with Tennessee, as hot as they've been lately. Yes, they lost to Georgia, keeping them back a little bit. Drew, outside of the obvious, you got Georgia, Texas, Alabama kind of at the top. You called LSU. Is there anybody else here that you would be willing to put a few dollars on to think that they could be one of the teams to win the SEC?
Oklahoma. I would say Oklahoma. I think if you're looking at Ole Miss and LSU, it's the winner of this game. I think would solidify themselves in that maybe second tier. You see LSU, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Ole Miss being the next four. The winner of that Ole Miss LSU game this week, I think you can put them up there.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alabama should be there, if not higher than Texas. Just quarterback play right there.
For some long shot odds, I don't hate Missouri at plus 2,200. They're going to win 10 games this year. They have a favorable schedule. They can run the football better than they have in a long time. And Bo Pribula is only going to continue to get better. Plus 2,200 is not terrible odds for a long reach on an SEC outsider. You know, Texas is going to go as Arch goes. Alabama, we'll see. But you can talk about Ole Miss making the Sweet 16. Jared, as an outside perspective, says Ole Miss owns football, and recently they have. Mississippi State owns everything else. We're talking truly like head-to-head, like, cool. They made the Sweet 16, but go look at head-to-head. Who wins in baseball? Who wins in basketball? That'd be your Mississippi State Bulldogs. But
there's really only one thing you can claim right now in this baseball. And we've got the same number of natties.
Yeah, but go look at head-to-head basketball. That's fine. Chris Beard got him a little bit further. Go look at head-to-head basketball recently. But there's your updated SEC odds for an SEC championship over on FanDuel.com.